Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Jenny Gilruth is having a bad time of it. Just this week, she's come under fire for a potential conflict of interest and misuse of her powers as a Secretary of State. She, of course, is the Transport Secretary. It's claimed that she misused those powers to delay maintenance works on a train line that runs through her constituency in case it inconvenienced her constituents over the Christmas break. If this is true and it's cost an extra few £1 million in delays, then she must immediately step down. Or if she doesn't, her boss must gird his loins, and use all that famous spine and balls he has to fire her. Oh wait, it's Humza Yousaf. Her job is fairly safe then. But that's not the only thing she's under fire for, because now it emerges that there's questions to answer about why the last rail boss left. It's a bit of misleading of Parliament that she's giving, and so of course there's more questions around her. It seems that she is very much ill-suited for the role when she keeps doing this. Let's have a look, see what the second claim is about, and see whether her position is tenable any longer. And probably not. Here goes. So, Jenny Gilruth in a fresh storm over alleged misleading claim about the rail boss. Already facing claims she broke the ministerial code, the now Education Secretary, previously the Transport Secretary, is now being questioned on the reasons a rail boss left his role last year. This is Gib, isn't it? So Jenny Gilruth has found herself at the centre of a fresh storm. This is amid claims that she misled Parliament. The SNP Education Secretary, who was previously the Transport Secretary, is already facing accusations that she broke the ministerial code by stopping rail works that would have impacted on her Mid-Fife and Glenrothes constituency. This potentially cost the taxpayer an extra £1 million in works, and this was while she was the Transport Minister. Now it's been claimed that she may have misled Holyrood over the reasons the rail boss Chris Gibb quit his role at the end of last year. Mr Gibb was the chief executive of the government-owned Scottish Rail Holdings before stepping down. He got fed up with all the interference, got fed up with her particularly, I suspect. And to be honest, if she was interfering in my job every day, I'd quit. According to reports in the Scottish Daily Mail, a paper presented to the SRH board in December confirmed Mr Gibb took the decision to leave due to the interference from the nationalist government. It states he had concerns over continual micromanagement by Scottish ministers, advisers and officials. And I've said this before, the SNP have this desire of complete and total control. Nobody is allowed to do anything without their official say-so. This micromanagement is why everything they do fails. They are managing it. They're not allowing the experts to get in and do the roles that they're paid to do. There's no point hiring an expert and then telling him what to do. That's not how it should work. But that's how the SNP work, because they cannot abide anyone having any kind of authority that they cannot control. But despite meeting with Mr Gibb the day the report was presented on December the 8th, when questioned at Holyrood by later by Labour MSP Neil Bibby in January, Miss Gilruth claimed that individual's post came to an end this year, so the issues that the member has highlighted in the chamber are not my understanding of why Mr Gibb is leaving. And it seems that is completely lying. She is telling a full-blown untruth. Scottish Labour business manager Martin Whitfield wants to see a full investigation into this debacle. He says not only does it look like Jenny Gilruth may have broken the ministerial code, but now she also has questions to answer over whether she lied to Parliament in an attempt to hide it. And it looks like it's becoming more and more clear that she did. But then this is the SNP. Lying is second nature to them. They lie and they lie and they lie some more. And when you catch them out in a lie, they lie to cover it up. It's all they can do. It emerged during the week that Miss Gilruth, who was promoted to the cabinet by Humza Yousaf in March, vetoed Network Rail's decarbonisation work between Edinburgh's Haymarket Station and Dalmeny in West Lothian, which would have a knock-on effect in her constituency. The 8-day project, which was scheduled to start on Boxing Day, has still to be completed, and these are expected to have major cost implications while it goes on. Miss Gilruth said she took the decision to minimise inconvenience for passengers. No, she did it to minimise inconvenience for her constituents, and therefore it's a party political matter. However, members of the SRH, which operates ScotRail, warned against the cancellation. The delay is set to cost £1 million, while 9,000 additional passengers every day will now be impacted. This is what happens when you allow people who are morons to make decisions and give them power to do things that they should never be allowed to do. Honestly, it is a government of fools. The Scottish Government rules state that ministers must keep separate their roles as minister and as constituency or regional list MSP. And if a decision has to be taken within their portfolio that may impact on their constituency, they must take particular care to avoid any possible conflict of interest. Basically, the rule there is, if there is any conflict of interest, real or perceived, you recuse yourself, you step back, and you ask someone else who is not in that position to make that decision for you. And so you go to your underling and say, look, I'm walking away, I'm not doing this, I'm handing it over to my underling to go to the committee can decide. That sort of thing. That's what you do. So that no one later can say that you had any hand in it. Your hands are clean. That's not what she did, and it's very clear that's not what she did. On Friday, the Tories urged Michael Matheson, who was the Transport Secretary at the time, to release all correspondence between him and Miss Gilruth relating to the decision. Douglas Ross wrote to the First Minister on Thursday, demanding a probe into whether Miss Gilruth broke the ministerial code. A spokesman for the government said the First Minister has been clear that any claim that a member of his ministerial team has broached any part of the code will be investigated following established process, which in his case means we'll just sort of vaguely sweep it under the carpet, because for him to make a decision would require a show of character, strength and leadership, not something he's noted for. So yeah, there she is. She was a Transport Minister who's interfered in works and then has gone on to possibly lie to Parliament and trying to cover it up. So it wouldn't surprise me if she did, because it is the SNP way, as I say. They just cannot help themselves. It's in their very makeup. And I shall stop there and come up. It seems to be the way that one particular MSP or MP, whatever, one individual within the party will rise and get hit with one piece of news. But then there's like all the detritus and fallout from that, and they get a second piece, a third piece, a fourth piece. Lorna Slater, I mean, we've done several on her recently. And now we're going to be doing several on Jenny Gilruth, because of course the more that happens, the more she tries to hide, the more she tries to cover it up, the more comes out. And even her attempts at hiding it and covering up are sometimes newsworthy. These politicians never ever learn, but then they're incapable of learning. It's very difficult to teach people when they've got such low IQs. Anyway, I shall round off there. Thank you very much for listening. If you like what you're seeing here on the channel, please hit that subscribe button there, ring that bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video. But mostly, leave that like. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, don't get on a train with her, she's going to drive you bonkers, and goodbye.